This boiler down, and that's the valve for it. I unscrewed that from the bottom of the boiler. That's the boiler for the Rectory, and this is the pressure tank for it that allows the water to expand when it heats up, and then so that it doesn't trip this pressure valve like what you would have on a water heater, so the furnace can cycle into its heat cycle. And with the expansion, it's got a place to go. It goes into that air tank, half full of water, half full of air. Well, that one's waterlogged right at the moment. Well, it's not right now because I just drained the whole thing over to that floor drain. The Rectory boiler is also draining right now, but quite a bit slower than this one. I was able to pull that whole drain clock off the bottom, and it must have drained out probably 15-20 gallons. So I'm guessing that this tank up here now is not waterlogged, that's the whole idea. We need to cut the lines apart here and put some shutoff valves in so that we can prevent that in the future. And well, actually really not prevent it, but when it does get waterlogged, we can isolate the furnace and the water lines, all the heat exchangers, or the what would you call them, fin tubes that are up in the Rectory and in the office, whereby we're not draining all that water. We're just isolating the tank. We bleed the tank, repressurize it, and we're good to go. Not only that, in this case, I'd like to replace this valve. This valve's quite old, and when I tried to drain it, I opened it up, it wouldn't drain. It looks to be like probably a 1-inch pipe. No, actually, maybe it's 3/4. So I'm going to go find a new nipple for that, a new valve that works better. And we're also going to be putting a valve in, let's see, we're going to be putting a valve in right there, I believe, and over here. So the system had to be empty. Terry's coming tomorrow. Now the same thing is true of the water boiler for the Rectory, and its expansion tank is hanging up there, and it was waterlogged also, and there's no isolation valves, so we'll be looking to put an isolation valve in right there, and let's see, well, I'm not sure exactly, but since that one up there was waterlogged, what it was doing was, as the water heated up and created some, because everything expands as it gets warmer, since that was waterlogged, it was opening up this pressure valve here like what you have in a water heater, and it's got this bucket half full of water, so each time the heater would cycle, it would expand the water and trip that valve, which is not supposed to. It's there for safety, and the valve's not supposed to be tripped every day. It kind of compromises the ability of it. So we're going to work on that too tomorrow. My job was to get all the water drained out today, and then possibly go get that valve. And then as I look at this valve over here in the base, on the bottom of the Rectory one, this one is this is what I'm looking for. It's a lever valve, also with a hose attachment. Although I don't really care for that. I suppose it works. Anyway, I'm going to hook onto this one when I free up a hose and see what the status of that is too. It may have 2 water chambers in there. Alright, that's good.